So today's video is really just a local Saturday morning gravel ride. Nothing real special about this ride other than it's what I do pretty much every other Saturday. There are actually 3 events going on this weekend, and one of them was canceled because of the weather tomorrow. So the main one that I'm missing is the Santos Fat Tire Festival. So I kind of messed up my lower back about 2 weeks ago. So I think it's from playing pickleball for the first time. So I used to play a lot of competitive tennis, and I haven't been playing tennis for a long time. But you don't forget how to, swing a racket. And I got out there as if I were playing tennis every day, running around. And it didn't hurt for a few days, but about the 5th day afterwards, man, I started to get pain in my SI joint. I don't know if I pulled a muscle and then it pulled on the SI joint, or I strained the tendons around the SI joint and it tightened the muscles, but I had about a week and a half of misery. I could not bend over. And so it's getting better. Been wearing an SI belt and starting to do some stabilizing exercises, but those take a while to take effect. But anyway, riding a gravel bike feels good. I got out on the mountain bike a couple days ago and it was okay. I don't feel like it made it worse, but I was gonna do the epic ride at Santos. It's a 50-mile event, not a race, like my favorite style of mountain biking lately. And I just was like, man, to get out there and push hard for over 4 hours on a mountain bike is probably not the best for recovery, because I'm actually going skiing in a couple weeks with my boy, and I don't want to do anything to mess up the back. So we're going to go on a gravel ride today, and I'm just going to show you some of the roads that I ride on a Saturday. And the other events, so there was a marathon race at my local trails that got canceled because of the weather. It was supposed to rain all day tomorrow. In fact, it's supposed to start raining about 3.5 hours, so I'm actually not riding quite as long as I planned today. Today's ride is going to be about 53 miles. I was going to do 70, but just don't feel like riding in the rain today. And then tomorrow, there's also a 200-mile gravel ride, and that one, they're gonna be riding in the rain all day. And I don't want to do that, to be honest. So I'm just heading out today and get back home and get some stuff done. So let's go on a gravel ride. I'll show you some of my local roads. So now we're on a B road north of High Springs. I've showed this road in another video. For those of you who don't know what a B road is it's paved, but it's far from being a main road. This road's narrow enough for one car. Really pretty road, got some good hills on it. Making our way over to gravel, and got a lot of gravel coming up. It's a really good route I'm doing today. Back's feeling good. It was a little painful the first few miles. I was kind of questioning my decision to ride today, but it is loosened up and feeling good. When this is all over and it's feeling better, I'm gonna hire a personal trainer to learn how to strengthen my lower back better. I just feel like my lower back's a weak link for me. I actually already had a little bit of rain, very light. Roads are a little wet, but it stopped. The weather forecast said a light rain, clear for 2-3 hours, then it's gonna rain more later. And lots of rain tomorrow. So it's been a little bit of carnage lately in the gravel community around here. If you saw that video 2 weeks ago on an event ride, we had a bad crash. Someone got a really bad concussion. He's doing better, by the way, if you watch that video. And then JOM from Gravel Cyclists, or JOM, he crashed last week and broke his humerus. And he's laid up for a while. Just, he was going through some grass and thinks he hit a pothole and went over the bars. Feel for him, man, it sucks. I hate being out of commission. Little campground to the right, we're gonna go over the interstate and then get on lots of gravel. Love this route. Pretty good elevation change all throughout it. Got some spring leaves coming out. This is by far my favorite time of the year to ride, March and April. Here in my area, getting warmer. Everything should be really green in about a month. Spring comes pretty early around here. Just had a little bit more rain, a little bit harder than the first time. But the temperature is nice. Low 60s. It was upper 50s when I started. Low 60s right now. Still light rain going on. Kind of motivated to push a little bit harder and get back before the heavier rain comes. This is a really cool dirt road. Really like this one. By the way, the bike that I'm riding, I put some little asphalt there. The bike that I'm riding is a demo bike. It's a Basso. Basso, if you don't know, is an Italian road bike company. And this is a pretty good bike. It's really unique. It's got a aluminum front triangle, carbon fork, carbon rear end. It's got some pivots at the top of the seat stays for the carbon to flex, and it's a really smooth riding bike. I'm liking it. It's a good price point. It's a kind of a mid-tier bike. I'll do my full review in the not too distant future. It's got Shimano GRX, spec'd pretty well. Man, I hardly ever see a car on this road. Got one coming up here. It's a really pretty road. I hope this truck gets over a little bit. Thank you, sir. There's a natural spring that crosses the road in two places. That's one of them right there. It comes out of the ground and just gently goes across the road. Nice little hill here. About 3%. Such good gravel roads around here. I've said it before, it makes up for not living in the mountains almost. This is a sand spot. Oh yeah, not a lot of sand on these roads, but that's a spot right there that usually is sandy. I tell you, the rain has kept the dust down a little bit today, which is nice. These roads can get really, really dusty if it's been super dry. So I'm having to switch to a voiceover because you can probably see in the video now it's raining harder, and it kept raining harder and harder and harder. So you may have seen in the opening clip that I had a microphone on my chest. That's the little DJI external mic that I use. And I don't think it's waterproof. So I tucked it away in my jersey to stay out of the rain, which is a good call probably because I got caught in an absolute downpour. Little downhill here. Really beautiful road. Like you can see on the right there, just a farming field, wide open, a little hilly. These are roads north of High Springs and Alachua. I just have so many combinations I can put together, but I probably ride this road once every couple months. I'm going to wipe off the lens there. Yeah, it's really raining. And like I said, a downpour coming up. So the forecast for this ride was like 2 days before it was no rain. And then the day before it was some light rain for maybe half an hour. And even the morning of the ride, like before I headed out, the forecast was just light rain and then more rain, like moderate rain once I got back. But you know, the thing is, I checked the forecast around my house, and this storm system, which rolled in, stayed pretty far north. In fact, you know, like I said, it's the day after this ride, and this 200-mile ride is going on. It's an event we do once a year, and I think they're having pretty good weather. Like, it did rain today, but not near as hard as it was supposed to, because this storm system stayed north, and this was a north route that I did, and it just ended up, I think, raining a lot harder than what the forecast said. So maybe it was my bad. Maybe I should have checked some towns further north before I headed out, maybe gone south. But, you know, I don't mind riding in the rain, to be honest. The temperature did drop a few degrees, so it's probably about 60. Hey, so I can't say that I pass a vehicle on a road very often. So I just bumped it up to like 23 miles an hour. I was like, man, I got the camera. I can pass this guy. I don't think I've ever done that before. Like, got it on video. Probably only the second or third vehicle I've ever passed in my life on a bicycle. But yeah, there you go. It ended up, it's just raining harder. It just got harder and harder. Like I said, I don't mind riding in the rain as long as it's not too cold. It's just the cleanup, you know. Like, after this ride, you know, cleanup of everything was an hour. You know, when you're talking about the bike and showering and cleaning the gear and everything that goes along with it, washing the clothes really good. Like, one of those rides, like, where you just got to kind of keep your clothes out and, yeah, just hose them off outside because they're just covered in sand and stuff. I don't have any fenders. Like, I was not prepared to ride in the rain. This is a decent little hill. Like, we don't get a lot of long climbs, and this is about a mile of about 2 to 3%. Now you can see, like, it is just pouring. Like, it's just, this is a downpour, and I kind of debated whether or not I should turn or like take a shortcut back, but I just decided to stick it out. You know, once you get to a certain degree of being wet, it doesn't really matter how long you stay out as long as you're not cold. But yeah, you can see on the road, it's just raining really hard. I was really, really, really glad that I brought my vest. It's a little Sirocco vest that tucks up pretty small. It tucks in its own little bag, and ended up being a good call. I would have been, honestly, a little bit chilly. This is a road that I have featured in several videos. It's called Old Bellamy Road. It's a little downhill. Really pretty road. It's several miles of hills. Man, you can see the mud. Look at that. You can guess, I'm just seeing this video for the first time, like doing this voiceover. You can see the mud getting on the camera. The camera that I'm using, by the way, is the Insta360 Ace Pro 2. Really liking it. It's not perfect. I'll make a full review if any of you are interested in that camera, but the big downside to it is because of the magnetic mount, it vibrates, and you cannot use the audio if you mount it to a bicycle handlebar. On the chest is great, but not so on the handlebar. That's why I use the external mic. So this is one of the hills, and what happened is on one of these hills, I got some chain suck, and I made a video about front derailleurs, and I'll just mention real briefly here. Like, I normally have sworn by front derailleurs on a gravel bike, not on a mountain bike. This is one of the hills, and they've done some work on this road. They put down this, like, you saw a little bit on one of those Lime Rock roads, this blacktop to kind of help with the potholes and probably the washboards. So it's just really like finely crushed, like, untreated asphalt is the best way to describe it. Back on the lime rock. You can see like lime rock is slippery when it's wet. You have to be careful. Like, you don't want to corner hard on it, and you don't want to brake too hard on it if it's that like really slick, smooth lime rock. But anyway, so one of the hills here, I got some chain suck, and the derailleur on this bike, because of the chain suck, it shifted, like it moved, it twisted, and I had to pull off and fix it. And then I didn't get it perfect. It kind of rubbed a little bit. This is one of the downhills on Old Bellamy. The hills on Old Bellamy get like 10%. So it's a good road. There's another one of the hills, I think, on Old Bellamy. That's where we're at. Yeah. Yeah, so on one of these, I had to pull off and fix the front derailleur. But, I went into much more detail on that video I made later on that day about front derailleurs. And I just pretty much concluded that from now on, I just prefer bikes with a 1x. But this demo bike, I'm really liking it. Because it's not full carbon and it's not a high-end build, it's not super light, but it's solid. It's just a good, solid bike. But yeah, that video, the review is coming up, and I'll go into a lot more detail on that bike. For those of you who are interested, I'll show it up close and whatnot. So kind of getting, they're burning, I think, this hurricane debris. So, it's several months after the hurricanes, and they're still burning debris. There was a lot of stuff. This road is pretty close to my house. I actually ended up riding this road all the time. It was a road that I went out on. There's a little cut-through trail going back into the hood, a little double-track trail. Have to cut onto some private property to get out, but I know the guy, and he's allowed me to cut through, and it really saves me from having to go out on some busy roads to get out to some of the good roads. So, hey, thanks for hanging with me if you've made it to this part in the video. Hope you enjoyed. The weather, didn't cooperate with me, but, it is what it is. It's what it's like being outside and riding bikes. So with that, I'm just going to go ahead and end this video as I go back into the streets. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.